What is up, everybody? How is it going? Austin Prechtelevate Performance, coming at you live. A little bit later than normal. Kiddo being sick and everything and having to drive made things a little bit more like not dysfunctional, but just the schedule and routine that I normally follow was not able to follow, which is why routines are so important. But at the end of the day, like I talked about yesterday, something is always better than nothing. And so we're still showing up today. We're still getting this live done. Today I'm going to talk about an interesting topic. But as you guys are tuning in, make sure to give the video a like so other people get a chance to see it. It helps the algorithm. Feel free to say hey, drop a comment, let me know how your day is going. And if you are watching this at a later time, hashtag replay so that way I know that you saw it. But today we're going to be talking about a very common training mistake that a lot of people do and a lot of people make when it comes to their workouts. And it's constantly switching up your workouts, constantly switching up what exercises you're doing for your workouts. And I'm not talking about how I'm not saying it's bad to hit chest and then hit legs and hit, like, it's good to hit those things. And then I've talked about that's like an important like part of having a solid training plan. But when it comes down to your working out, a lot of people have shiny object syndrome. What's up, Brianna? He's doing good. He's doing good. The kiddo's doing good. His temperature, his fever has come down. Thankfully, last night was pretty scary, but we're thankfully I think on the mend. Hopefully, so fingers crossed. Thank you for asking. And so, what we want to talk about today is why you're probably getting your like causing yourself to have like worse progress in your journey, right? You're probably causing yourself to put on less muscle or to recomp less effectively because you're constantly switching up your workouts. You've got almost like shiny object syndrome when it comes to trying new exercises. And so this is something that a lot of people go through, especially if you're new to the gym. Maybe you don't know what exercise you're supposed to be doing to hit certain, muscle groups, or you're just kind of trying to do whatever. You saw somebody, or you saw a video of somebody doing something, like you're just constantly, workout hopping, or maybe you're trying a bunch of different programs and things like that, trying to figure out what you like. But a lot of times people make the mistake of constantly switching up their workouts, and that actually leads to less progress because there used to be an old train of thought where people thought like confuse you got to confuse the muscle right, to make it grow and to make it adapt, and that is definitely some false bro science shit that 10 years ago I used to believe that, right? Like you heard Arnold saying stuff like that. You heard a lot of like top bodybuilders that have tons of muscle and things like that saying things like that. But what's up, Randy? But it actually couldn't be further from the truth. You can't actually confuse a muscle. Our bodies are pretty damn smart and pretty good and pretty in the know, and great at adapting to certain things that we're putting it through. And working out, if you think about it, is just you're providing your body with a stimuli, right? You're providing it with something that it has to adapt to, right? Your body in its day to day. You go to the gym to work out. You're lifting weights. Your body's like gets all these micro tears. It gets inflamed. It's like, oh shit, like we need to better prepare for that the next time around because this keeps happening. This person, what's up, Tabby? This person just keeps putting themselves in these situations where they keep creating these micro tears, and I don't know what the hell's going on. But we need to adapt and put a stop to this because apparently this person's just going to keep going to the gym and keep doing this to themselves. So that's what happens. That's how our body works. But the old train of thought was like, you go to the gym, you do all these different things, you do like 10 different exercises in a single workout, and you constantly just trying to confuse your body so it adapts. And I know the people who used to say that were good intention, but they just honestly didn't know what they were talking about. And if you heard me say that 10 years ago, I didn't know what I was talking about either. So it's one of those things that you live and you learn. And so confusing the muscle, it's bullshit. It's not. It's a myth. It's not something that you can actually like do. And so what you want to do, right? And what you want to do, because a lot of times people do a couple they'll work out for a few weeks or a few months, and then they're like, man, like they just switch things up, right? You get bored or you get that shiny object syndrome. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, and I want to talk about why. What you want to do is you want to get really good at a few exercises, right? And when I say a few, it could be anywhere from probably like 3 to 6 different exercises that are kind of like your favorites, right? That are really good exercises that are effectively hitting the muscle groups from a variety of angles, right? So like you've got a couple of exercise, like for triceps, maybe you've got like 4 or 5 different movements that you just really like. But if you're somebody who's just constant, if you've got like you got 12 or 13 that you're just like constantly on rotation through, right? You're constantly on rotation through. You're gonna slow your progress down tremendously, and I want to say why, because they've done studies where they've compared people that completely rotate their exercises every like 4 weeks or every week or whatever, compared to people who stick with the same exercises for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? And yes, you can throw a little something in there to add a little variation here and there. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because as people we do get bored sometimes. But the people that stuck with the same exercises, right, who weren't trying to constantly confuse the muscle, saw better progress and maintained better muscle mass throughout their throughout their training. And the reason why that happened is because if you're constantly trying to like confuse your body or confuse your muscles, what's going to happen is that you're going to be changing up the stimuli so much that you're not giving your body enough time to actually adapt. Something that a lot of people don't realize whenever they first start training, they're like, holy shit, I'm getting so much stronger every single week or every single month. I'm getting so much stronger, which is great. Like, that's awesome. Like, I don't want to take anything away from anybody's progress or anything like that. But of the vast majority of that strength increase is not because of you're putting on pounds and pounds of muscle, right? It's because your body's having neurological adaptations to those movements. Your body's actually neurologically adapting. It's not like you're putting on a ton of muscle in those moments. Like, you do put on some muscle, but the vast majority of that strength that you're getting, that newfound strength that you're getting, is from these neurological adaptations. So if you're constantly like, trying to getting your body to like neurologically adapt to the next new exercise that you do every week, like you're not going to see like a lot of like true like strength gains from muscle and body recomposition. You're just seeing more or less like neurological differences that are occurring, that's something that not a lot of people recognize or realize, and that's not something that I really knew about a whole lot. Like 10 years back, I was just like, holy shit, like I'm just getting so much stronger all of a sudden. It's like, yeah, I mean, you put on some muscle, but a lot of it's neurological adaptation. And so, what you want to do though, because if you're constantly switching things up, you're not creating a foundation that your body can build muscle on more effectively, right? You don't want to do a ton of different exercises. You want to get really good at a select few exercises that your body can, not only neurologically adapt to, but then start to lay a foundation of muscle on and start to body recomp and start to have more of that tone up effect that a lot of people want to have in their goals and the aesthetic that they want to go for. And so that is kind of like a core thing here, is that you want to think of it like this way. Like if you're constantly think of your, like, you want to build muscle, right? Let's or your body is like a building, right? And you want to build muscle, and the building's a muscle, right? If you're constantly and every time you do an exercise, right, you lay a little bit of foundation, right? But if you're constantly doing different exercises, it's almost as if you're laying a foundation and then wiping it away to lay another foundation and wiping it away. You're never laying a foundation or a lattice work or a framework that every time you do that same exercise, it's like you lay a foundation. Oh, build a little bit on that foundation, build a little bit on that foundation. And all of a sudden, over time, you got this skyscraper of like badassery that is like the muscle that you've developed. But if you're constantly just like, put a foundation with a new exercise and you wipe it away and put a new foundation on kind of deal, you're not going to be as effective at building your, building that muscle and recomping your body. And so a lot of times, and this is something that's very common. This is very common. I work with a lot of people, and somebody comes into into my program, and they're like cool, like they'll do their exercises, and right, we'll increase the intensity of things, right? But they'll be like, man, I really want to switch things up, and they're only like 2 weeks, and I'm like, let's hold like we can find exercises that like fit your needs or fit like your body or what you want to achieve or what what feels good for you, right? Like I have no problem with that, but if you're just bored, right? Bored, or you think that you need to switch your workouts out all the time because that's what you've been accustomed to and taught and what's the word I'm looking for? Like you've been not acclimated, but you've been almost like I can't think of the word. You've basically been from societal pressure, like kind of made to believe that you need that. when you don't. Like you just need you just need your select few exercises that you're really good at, that you really like, that feel good, that you can feel are working, and then doing those, over time, consistently, repeatedly, over and over and over again, because that's going to get you better results. But if you're constantly switching things up, like I just talked about and how I explained, like you're going to get less progress, and you're probably also going to be, potentially more injury prone too, just because when your body gets used to doing these movements and you get really good at the form of those movements because you're doing them consistently, you're going to be less likely to mess yourself up, right? And so there's more than just like there's more benefits to doing a lot of the same things over and over again. And so like obviously, like if you're probably wondering, like, well, when do I switch my workouts up? Like, when should I? And you can throw in like a different exercise here and there, as long as you're still doing your core foundational exercises that work for you and that you like. But it's okay to switch things up a little bit every 3 to 6 months. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with switching things up in that regard. If you get bored or if you do want to switch things up, like sometimes like I might predominantly do have like the majority of my let's just say chest day or something like that, like is machines or cables or something like that. And then 3 months down the line, I'm like, I'm kind of getting bored with this a little bit. I don't know, maybe switch it to more like free weight, like the majority free weight, and then I'll still have some of my cable exercises, but they're not, they're more secondary than the primary, things that I'm doing. And so, like for you guys, like, stop changing up your workouts so goddamn much. Stop switching them so frequently, because you're not gonna get the progress that you want to get doing that, and you're probably gonna, you could hurt yourself and things like that. We don't want that. So, like I said earlier, though, like, a lot of the beginner strength, though, is neurological adaptation, right? And so, like it takes time to build strength over time, long term. And you'll still see consistent progress, especially for the first, like, 6 months, 12 months, even, year and a half. Like you'll see strength gains, significant strength gains, and put on a lot of muscle. But, you're going to get less results if you're, constantly switching things up all the time. And so, just have that expectation coming into your journey or your fitness program. If you're starting a new program, that's going to be, how you're going to be in that mentality. Be like, okay, I've got my like core exercises I really like that feel really good. I'm going to do these. I'm going to do these and do these and do these until the wheels fall off, until I get really fucking good at these movements. And then over time, I can add stuff in. There's nothing wrong with trying new things, but don't make that the main thing, or the main like focus of your program or your workouts is like constantly switching shit up, because it's not going to benefit you. And a lot of people are probably like, well, like my beach body stuff, like it changes every like week or every 2 weeks or whatever. It's like, those workouts aren't built for, like for the vast majority of them are not built for body recomposition. A lot of those are built for like endurance and cardio, and it's more or less like a lot of it's cardio, rather than actual like, building muscle. Like you'll see a little bit of progress, but like in terms of like strength training, a lot of those workouts aren't actually like strength training base. So yeah, I mean, that's fine. If you want to switch those up and do different kinds of cardio every week, like that's fine, but you're not going to get the results again, body recomposition wise and strength wise, that you would with, following a plan consistently and doing the workouts that, that you're given consistently. And if, you want to switch things up after a couple months, like you can, like there's nothing wrong with that, or add in some stuff, spice it up a little bit here and there. We all get bored sometimes, but at the end of the day, don't let shiny object syndrome or boredom or, because you see other people talking about confusing the muscle, like don't let them throw you off course. Like stay the course, trust the process. You're going to get better results because of it. You're going to be less likely to get injured, and you're going to feel confident that what you're doing, and you're going to get really, really fucking good at those movements. So, yeah. So at the end of the day, that's why it works the way it is. That's why you should do it. That's why you should structure your plans that way. And yeah, if you have any questions about this, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll try to do my best to answer them. But yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to, when it comes down to, why you shouldn't be switching things up like crazy, because you're going to get less progress, and I want to help you get as much progress as possible on your journey. So that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you got value from this. Other than that, I'm going to hop off here. Happy Tuesday. Have a good rest of your day. Hashtag replay if you're watching this at a later time. And other than that, I will talk to you all later. I'm going to do a quick little Q&A on TikTok, so feel free to follow me on there. But other than that, I will talk to you all later. I'm gonna read this last comment real quick. This is a new mindset for me. It can be a little tough sometimes in my brain, but it's a good feeling when you find yourself hitting higher weights or reps. Yeah, absolutely. Less freaking go. All right, guys. I will talk to you later. Have a good rest of your day. Let me know your number one takeaway in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.